Hi, welcome to NDE TV. I'm Peggy Robinson. Today's guest is Chris Dunkle, and I had his mother on a week ago, maybe, Kat, and she had told me about his ministry, and so we got together and was able to get Chris on, and I appreciate that. He has a little bit of different story, which is what we need. We need some different personalities, so everybody can get this message. So hi, Chris. So feel comfortable to start where you like and take as long as you like.
Well, I don't know how many of your audience have read my mother's book, and it definitely opens up a lot of history. How mom had experienced a near-death experience, an afterlife, whatever you want to call it, and something that has always stuck in my life. My mom is my rock, and pretty much believe 99.9% of anything that comes out of mom's mouth. After reading her book and um, then getting the note that you might want to talk to me, all I can basically do is try to uh, explain where I've been real briefly. I try to not drag it out, and that's where I am today. Um, and my ministry with a motorcycle ministry. I won't mention any names, but my ministry that I got involved with about 6 years ago was uh, dealing exclusively with the 1% world, with the outlaw world. And there again, I won't mention any names, but people like myself, when I was growing up, the age of 16, I've always been involved with motorcycles. I owned my first Harley Davidson when I was 19 years old, 20 years old, and it was a relief um, for me to get into the motorcycle world. Um, and so that's kind of how I fell into my ministry with my mom and the Holy Spirit working and never giving up, never leaving me. God's promise is true. Um, He will never leave you or abandon you. Sometimes it does feel like um, that he's not there, but he has a plan. Um, I guess I can start with um, my upbringing as a young child when I was 8 years old. Um, I um, my mother had and biological father had left one left one another for whatever reason. It was time for them to leave. Mom took me and my little brother Mark um, from Kansas City and moved up to Seattle. And, did the best we could to try to raise us. When I was 8 years old, and Mark was 7, my mother and my father, Don Dunkle, is my dad. He's been there since I was 3 years old, 4 years old, and because he's not my biological father, I don't look at it that way. I look at it as a blessing. He was my father. Um, but Don and my mom Kathy were on a new venture. They fell in love, and my dad was in starting a new business. My mom was working and seeking. She's always been worked hard and never gave up for anything she did. Believe in. She started the business working in the automobile industry, and it took away from me as an individual, as a kid. Never really had a dad, at that point in my life. Um, uh, my mom and dad went out one night to attend to the dad's tea industry. Started a bar and left us, me and Mark, with a babysitter. And um, uh, babysitter, I was 8 years old. and Mark was 7 back then. You could buy cigarettes, believe it or not, and he wanted us to go up the street to the bowling alley to get some cigarettes. And while we were crossing a very busy street, Mark was right next to me, and he was struck and killed right in front of me. And to this day, 50 years later, I still hear that noise. Still can see his feet flying over the top of the car. You still see when he landed, his eyes were wide open and staring at me. And, back then, I guess we as individuals didn't know what PTSD was. And later on in life, we found out through all these soldiers that come home and witness similar things. So Mark was taken from us, and again, I had a new father. And, it was hard for them. It was hard for me. Still so young, I didn't know what I was dealing with, and so I kind of got out in life with kind of the wrong step, I guess. Wasn't the best. I didn't understand why I felt alone for a long time in my life, and as I grew older, I was seeking attention anywhere I could get it. Love, affection, and as I grew older into my teens, I got into, I would seek these relationships, whether it was a buddy down the block, a new friend down the block, or what have you. And so I fell into a kind of a rebellious state, if you will, as a teenager. And the more I rebelled with the relationship got at home with me and my dad, and which is understandable. It became a relationship that I hate to use the word abusive. I deserved everything I got. I got into a lot of mischief, and some things that I regret. And I could never find peace or just the affection, so I moved on and on. And so as I got out of my teenage years, and then things started falling apart at home, I knew who God was. He was there. I think in my mom's book, one of the things that really struck me is that she quotes, "While I had an innate belief in God as a small child, my knowledge of God was what I felt. The feelings tend to change. I was never taught much about God. So everything I learned was like a seed being planted on unfertile ground." And that's kind of sums it all up there for me. I knew God was there, shifting from school to school, relationships to relationships, and just trouble. And so at that point in my life, where home life was falling apart because of my rebellion, and thinking all these things here on earth that could never fill my heart, give me peace. I decided that it's time to join the military and make a living for myself. And so I served my country and came out of the Navy after a 6-year misstint. And when I came out, I found the same thing. I did good. I raised my son. Unfortunately, I missed a lot of his life because of deployments in the Navy. But I went ahead and did the best I could with the training that I had, my skills in the Navy, and tried to make a living in the civilian environment as an electrician. It wasn't paying the bill. I got wrapped up into finding other ways to make money, and that's where myself in it, and along my path, which was just a total one-way destruction. Um, uh, I hurt a lot of people in my life, and I carried those scars for a long time. Uh, uh, but as time went on, my mom never gave up on me, kept praying over me and asking for those things to be broken. I credit a lot of where I am today to my mom, just not giving up, and God's word telling me you would never give up. Eventually, I had a daughter, Haley, that came along, and I ended up fighting for custody for Haley. And I knew at that point that, I needed to do this for her, to be a dad, something that I was lacking. Uh, so I started driving dirt trucks and heavy haulers and made a decent living, supported my daughter by myself uh, without any support from the other half. Maybe now I'm glad to say she's grown up to be a beautiful 23-year-old girl, and she's close to the Lord Jesus as well, which I'm pretty proud of. Um, uh, when in this process, I still was lacking that peace, that that things that I wanted to be forgiven for the things that I've done in my past, the things I've done to my family, and decided to attend a local church, with a big church, a Christian church, and when I walked in, I saw this big old burly biker wearing this big three-piece patch, and I just walked up to him and introduced myself and kind of told him, hey, this is a new start for me. And I introduced myself, and he asked right then and there, can I pray with you? And man, I just felt something right there. So I didn't want to involve myself into the club life. I was, like I said, pretty independently by myself. Had a lot of biker friends, but never wanted to be involved in a club. And but after spending time with this particular club, iron sharpens iron, and I had received that relief that I was searching for. A brotherhood, like someone was there for me, someone that was steering me away from that old world, from all that hurt and pain. And I ended up riding with the club for a total of 6 years. I don't ride anymore with any club or organization. I've had some back surgery, but in that process of spending that 6 years with this ministry, like I said earlier in the interview, I knew God was there. I knew Jesus was there. I just never picked up the book and never maintained a steady relationship with Jesus. In that ministry, something changed my life. I went through, prior to that, a big bout with drugs and alcohol, and it took me out of that. I don't know how. I can't explain it, but I found peace and comfort with the brotherhood, with the club. And the more we went out and did outreaches to try to tell people who I could relate with, ministry is a funny thing. We all have a purpose to be somewhere. We all don't look the same. I have long hair, tattoos, and probably not belong in a certain area. But in that world, in the outlaw world, I can go share my stories with them, and hopefully just plant that seed to help them. And I'm proud to say that there were several encounters of hardcore people that I still talk to today that have found humbleness, forgiveness, love, and they just want to experience what changed me. I think that's where I got started with ministry and what I learned as I went through those years to be able to have the confidence to go out. Nowadays, I do street ministry. I found myself at certain times waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I just moved down to Arizona a couple of years ago, and I found myself a couple of times waking up and just 3:30 in the morning and going up to the local McDonald's and buying a big old bag of 20 breakfast sandwiches and just searching for people that are out on the street and try to tell them my story. I've been blessed that way. I can't really say enough about what the Lord's done for me. All I can do is try to tell my story and still try to be strong. This has been a tough interview. Trying to be as short as I can. 60 years of life, trying to put into 10 minutes of an interview or 15 minutes, and we just want people to know that he's here, he lives, and he changed my life, and I believe he can change those that are out there just lost like I was. So,
Well, I thank you, Chris, for coming on and sharing that. And that's a good idea. Just go out and start handing out sandwiches and ministering to people. I mean,
yeah,
because that's where they are. I mean, during the night, you're not going to find them, at the
yeah.
churches and that need to hear it.
Yeah.
I wonder if the brotherhood healed that because of losing your brother at such a young age, to be able to have that brotherhood finally again.
It definitely steered me in the right direction. My time in the service, I met a lot of different brothers that I was young and wanted to, at that point in my life, I thought I knew it all, um, it was a different brotherhood, but yeah, you're definitely spot on. The ministry, the motorcycle ministry that I got into changed my life. And it wasn't just that ministry, it was the Lord himself. What he wants us to do is to reach out and just plant that seed. Um, yeah.
Seems such a shame that, as I drowned at 5 and obviously come back, but like such a shame that we're not able to let our loved ones know, hey, I'm okay over here. Everything's fine. I was having a good time when I drowned. I was this ghost kid. I was out running around playing with kids in the yard. Of course, they couldn't see me, and I'm trying to talk to them. And, I'm sure there would have been more, it's heaven after that. It's just that's all I experienced was just roaming the earth, flying over the highway. And then my second NDE, I had the whole tunnel in heaven and God, Jesus experience. But yeah, it'd be nice if we could connect with those that passed, just to say, how you doing over there? What's it like? And so we're not so stuck with that last image of, with your brother, what you saw.
You know, I really take it to heart more nowadays since mom has finished her second book here, It's Safe to Die. The influence and the stories that I'm picking up from her exposure after putting this book out, and to listen to these other people that have had these experiences. I have not had that experience, but again, 99.9% sure, I'm sure my mother would not lie to me, especially about something like this. And to hear the other people's stories, how beautiful and how wicked it could be, depending on who you are. And it just takes an easy step, and just to admit to yourself your wrongdoing, to reach out and ask God to come into your life, believe He is your Savior. It's the only way to have any freedom. And boy, it sure changed my life. It found that emptiness. Um, Again, there's another chapter in my mom's book where she mentions where I was just probably, I don't know, probably about 5, 6, when we were in a laundromat, and I actually walked up to a stranger and asked him at that point, I said, will you be my daddy? You know, I mean, I searched for that. And along the way, trying to find that, I tried to find it in all the wrong ways. Physical life here on earth, popularity, the drugs, being that guy, you know, here on earth. So, it was a dead end road. And at the end of the day, 16 years later, I can say this now because I lived. I found my peace through other people's prayers, through God's grace, and other people's testimonies. So I don't know if this helps anybody else out, but it's part of my story. And,
So it gets you through, it sounds like.
Yeah. I thank you so much for the time to speak.
Well, thank you. You did good.
Yeah.
You did good. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you, Peggy.
I'll send this to you later today. I'm going to send you another one. Somebody I did several months back. I think his name's Darren Hammond. I think it might help you. His little boy died in his arms at the hospital, a sudden illness, and he didn't believe in anything. But when his son died, he went to heaven with him.
Oh.
He got to see everything. What his little boy, where he was going to be and how he's going to be living, and totally changed his life.
Yeah, I certainly want to stick around here for as long as I can with the loved ones I got. So I can't wait to see that day.
Yeah. I have babies on the other side I want to see too. So, all right. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.